All right. Hi, Mr. Scanlon.
Hello.
Can I call you Greg?
Yeah, sure.
Great. So I'm Hilary, the registered dietitian, and I understand that you were recently diagnosed with lactose intolerance and asked for a referral from your doctor.
I did, yes.
Great. So I'm really glad you came today. So in today's session, I would like to go over what lactose intolerance is, what foods contain lactose, alternative foods that are lower in lactose that we can include in your diet, and some hidden sources of lactose.
Okay, sounds good.
And I'm hoping that after today's session, you'll have some tools to help you manage the symptoms better.
Awesome, thank you.
And I would like to stress that today we're going to focus on the management of your lactose intolerance with food sources.
Okay.
There are some over-the-counter enzyme replacements like lactate, which you can take with food to help digest it.
Okay.
But that's only really if the symptoms don't go away with the foods. But I'm hoping that we can manage them with just changing some things in your diet.
Okay, that sounds good.
Great. So I just want to ask you a couple of questions to see your knowledge about lactose intolerance, and then how we'll base the session off of that.
Perfect.
Do you know what lactose is?
I don't know entirely, but I believe it's a chemical found in animal-based milks.
Okay, perfect. And did your doctor explain to you what lactose intolerance is?
Not really. They weren't really an expert on that, so they decided to refer me.
Okay, great. Well, I'm glad you came.
Excellent.
And do you know what types of foods contain lactose?
Yeah, I know dairy products typically contain it. Milks, ice creams, cheeses, things like that.
Yes, got it. And what kinds of foods do you eat that are causing you your symptoms?
Typically those three I just mentioned are the main ones. I don't really eat yogurt, but pretty much ice cream. I'll have milk in my cereal in the morning sometimes. And also occasionally, because I work in a cheese shop, I have some cheese as well.
Okay, great. So first I just want to quickly explain to you what lactose intolerance is and why you're experiencing the symptoms that you are.
Awesome, yeah.
So lactose is actually a sugar found in milk.
Oh.
And lactose intolerance is your body's inability to digest it.
Okay.
So your body is lacking the lactase, the enzyme lactase.
I see.
Which you need to digest it. So when you have lactose, that's why you're experiencing those symptoms, because you don't have the enzyme, and that creates symptoms like nausea, cramps, gas, bloating, and diarrhea.
Oh, okay.
It's not too pleasant.
No, not pleasant at all.
But I want to emphasize that you're not allergic to milk.
Oh.
Milk allergy is a totally different thing. That's when you're allergic to the proteins found in milk.
Ah.
And your body just has an intolerance to the sugar lactose, and you're not allergic to lactose either.
Okay, cool.
So I want to start off by thanking you for filling out your 24-hour recall.
Oh, no problem.
And I made a copy for you and was hoping that you could highlight foods on here that you think may contain lactose.
Sure, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I think you got it, basically.
Okay,
yeah.
great.
So the only other thing, so you highlighted correctly that half and half, the cheese on your vegetable pizza, and then the ice cream down below. The only other thing that might contain some lactose would be the croissant, and then that American cheese on your breakfast sandwich.
Oh, yes, I almost always forget about that one.
No, don't worry about it. So I have a handout that has some common foods that contain lactose.
All right.
So that's where you were correct in the milk, coffee creamer, which you highlighted, ice cream, cheese, butter, puddings, cream soups, yogurt, and then any other foods that are made with milk.
Okay.
So on here, I saw on your food frequency that you said you sometimes have the milk, but ice cream is a pretty common thing, and then cheese.
Yes.
So it says on your chart that you work in the specialty department at Whole Foods.
I do, yes.
What kind of products do you work with?
Basically, a variety of different cheeses. We work with fresh cheeses, aged cheeses, as well as coffee and, other things like that. Just specialty products, chocolates and coffees and cheeses.
Do you sample the cheeses at work?
Yeah, it's always good. They encourage us to try different things so we know what we're selling, and I do try cheeses that work from time to time.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some of the options that you have in terms of what types of cheese will be better to include in your diet now that you have lactose intolerance.
Okay.
So I want to say that even though you're eating some lactose-containing foods, people with lactose intolerance can usually tolerate a certain amount of lactose in their diet.
Cool.
The current recommendation is about 12 grams a day.
All right.
And you can experiment with trial and error because it's different for everyone and see what types of foods work for you and then the amounts of those foods.
Awesome, okay.
And sometimes small amounts of foods like milk and dairy items are better tolerated with meals than alone. So like your cereal and milk, you might be better to tolerate than just milk alone. And like the cheese on your vegetable pizza is probably better than cheese alone.
Interesting, all right.
Yeah. And also certain dairy products contain different amounts of lactose.
Oh, okay.
And so I have this handout here that has some high lactose foods and low lactose foods. So the high, that's where your milk is. There's cottage cheese, cheese spreads, ricotta, yogurt, ice cream.
Cool.
And then the lower lactose foods, that's sherbet, your aged cheeses, processed cheese and butter.
All right.
And so with the cheese, which I know is something you eat, do you like the aged cheeses?
Luckily, I typically prefer the aged cheeses to the fresher ones, so those are the ones with less lactose, right? The aged cheeses? Okay, perfect.
So great. So that definitely
nice
stick to those. And, you know, as you're eating them, just keep track of what works for you, you know, in terms of what you can tolerate and not get any symptoms. There you go.
Absolutely.
And so I saw in your food recall, I wanted to talk about your ice cream consumption.
Okay.
I saw in the recall that you ate a pint of Ben & Jerry's for dessert.
I do. I eat a lot of ice cream. It's probably one of the main causes for me making this appointment.
Your symptoms, yeah. So I want to see if you'd be willing to reduce the portion size to possibly reduce the symptoms.
I think that, you know, even though I really don't want to because I love ice cream so much, it would probably be in my best interest to do so.
So you're currently eating a pint, and this is the serving size for ice cream. It's about half a cup.
Okay.
I'm not telling you you need to have half a cup. That's a big jump from the pint. But I would just say, again, trial and error. You know,
work
your way down and see what doesn't cause you any symptoms.
That seems reasonable.
But if you're still getting symptoms from the ice cream, I want to bring up another alternative.
Okay.
There are a lot of lactose-free ice creams out there that are made from milk alternatives like coconut, almond, or soy milk.
I see.
And I know Whole Foods actually carries a lot of them.
Excellent.
Have you ever tried anything like this?
I believe I've had some, I don't know if I've had all of them, but I've had some, you know, dairy alternative ice creams before. I've had a few.
Did you enjoy that?
Yeah, I really did enjoy it. I think I had a coconut one that was really nice. It was a coconut-based gelato that also was coconut flavored, so that was very nice.
Well, good. Okay, I'm glad. So I actually brought us a sample of Almond Dream. It's made from almond milk, and we can try it and see what you think. And okay, so I'll try it with you.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. There you go. And let me know what you think.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That's actually pretty good.
It is. It's surprisingly similar to ice cream, actually. Sometimes I've heard that some other ones are kind of the texture isn't the same, or maybe the flavor isn't the same.
Yeah, no, actually that's really good.
It's very good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised as well. So now that you enjoyed that, would you be willing to substitute that for the regular ice cream?
Yeah, I mean, it's very good. It would definitely take some adjustments to come off the Ben & Jerry's, but I think I could definitely get into it, yeah.
Well, good. I'm really glad. And so lastly, I want to go over some hidden sources of lactose.
Okay.
Milk and lactose are frequently added to prepared foods like baked goods, salad dressings, soups, and bread.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I have this handout, one last handout. It's the hidden sources of lactose. So up here there's whey, caseinate, nougat, milk fried products, dry milk solids, butter, as we talked about, curds, and then dry milk powder.
Yes.
So you mentioned in your recall that you normally eat foods like donuts and muffins.
Yeah, sometimes in the morning with my coffee I'll have a donut, yeah.
So I actually provided us with an ingredient list for a Dunkin' Donuts glazed donut. I know you're not eating Dunkin' Donuts, but
Well,
the ingredients are similar.
Pretty similar, probably.
And I'm hoping that with the list above, you could try to find some of the hidden sources of lactose. You can highlight them with the highlighter if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
All right. See here. That one's for sure.
There's a lot on there.
Another one.
Awesome. That's actually it.
That's everything. Okay, yeah, looks like.
Well, good job.
Thank you.
So, are you experiencing symptoms after you're eating those foods?
Typically not as strong. I find on the days where I have, milk in the coffee is probably what's getting it, because I find that even when I don't eat the donuts and I have coffee
Right, because you're
alone,
eating at the
I'm
same
still
time
feeling
as
it.
milk.
Yeah, and it doesn't feel intensified by the donuts at all.
Okay.
But it's definitely, it's present pretty much. Right
Okay. So small amounts of lactose found in these prepared foods usually don't bother people. But I mean, so again, see trial and error. If you find that you are bothered by them, reduce your portion size or maybe think about removing it from your diet.
Okay.
And with the milk, I just want to say, there are, and I think Whole Foods I know provides some dairy-free options. So if there is a milk-free creamer or, almond milk, coconut milk, whatever you find that, suits your taste buds, give it a try. But again, just try reducing the portion at first if you don't want to change from your regular milk.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Great. So to wrap up today's session, I was hoping that you could tell me what lactose is and what kinds of foods contain lactose. I'll hide this.
Sure. Okay, yeah, I won't look at it. As far as I know now, lactose is a sugar that's found in milk, animal milk, and it's unique in that it needs a substance lactase, I believe, or some variation of that.
Enzyme, there you go.
An enzyme to break it down, and typically people with the intolerance are lacking that particular enzyme in their digestive system. And some foods that would contain lactose was the second question. Basically anything with milk, so some baked goods can contain milk, ice cream and cheese and yogurt. We went over most of those. I'd say that's pretty much it. Those things, and then any other type of dairy products that baked goods and things like that.
Perfect, you got it.
Okay, cool.
So I just want to remind you that everyone's different, and you may be able to tolerate some types of foods and someone else with lactose intolerance.
Awesome.
So my recommendation to you is to kind of keep a food diary, just keep a pen and paper around and write down what types of foods you just ate when you start to experience the symptoms.
Okay.
So then you have a better idea. And then we can, if you'd like to make a follow-up session, you can bring those lists with you and we can go over them and then work on tailoring your diet some more.
That sounds good.
Great. Do you have any questions?
I think that does it for me. I think I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So thank you for your time. And here's my business card. It has my email and telephone number on there. So if you have any questions, you can just go ahead and email me and I'll answer you right away. And if you have to make any follow-up appointments.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Hilary.
Well, thanks, Greg.
It was a pleasure.
Take care.
Bye-bye.